Hi everybody, Michael here. So today what I would like to do is to record a bit of a different video. Uh, I have one of my films here that I recently shot, and by recently I mean October. I shot it back during my business trip in London, and I have yet to scan it. So that's what we will do. Uh, just for the curious ones, the film is Kenmere Pen 400. I think I rated this to 1600, which is what I really like to do with this film. You'll get a bit more contrast with that and a really nice pronounced grain, which doesn't really obstruct, the picture, since this is a 120 film, so we get a plenty of resolution anyway. And it was shot on what I would say is a poor man's Rolleiflex. So the famous Yashica Meto 124G, or you can know it as a YouTuber special. It's a really great camera. I really like the lens and the rendering it gives me. The viewfinder is really nice and bright. The light meter would use some adjusting, but as far as you remember that it measures like one step below what it actually sees, you're good to go. So that's what we will do today. I will rig up my made copy stand and put on the camera, and we'll get to it. Okay, so this is what we are working with today. You can see my jerry-rigged copy stand. I made this myself. I am not proud of it at all, but it does work. It has some 3D printed parts. This bracket is 3D printed. This is just from local store, and your aluminum square profile, and it works quite well. What I put on is this adapter for macro, because what it allows me to do is when I have the height of the camera roughly adjusted, I can unscrew this and just do some micro adjustments so that I use my entire sensor, which is kind of important if you want to have as much resolution as possible. Now, what I use for the camera is my trusty Leica M240, not because I need to have everything from Leica, but because I literally don't have any other digital camera. And it's full frame, 24 megapixels, works quite well for me. And if I want to squeeze out more resolution out of my scans, I just scan a frame in segments and just stitch it in post, which works quite well. That's what I do even for my large format scans. I can get up to like 150 megapixels of usable picture. So I don't really have the need to upgrade to anything else right now. And of course, since this is a Lobster Holder video, what we will be using is one of our holders. And namely, we will use the V2 holder, our main one right now. So you are probably familiar with it already. Simple holder with an adapter that fits nicely to the CS light. You open it by pushing the button, open it, put on your film, and go scanning. Now, since we have shot a 6x6, of course I'll be using our 6x6 masks, so let me just open it and put it in. There we go. By the way, for those who have bought the holder, have you noticed the little lobster? I really love it. It's a nice little touch, as well of course as the button. And because I have a lot of light here, I will use this cover. And that's basically it for a setup. I will put on my little glove, that I will put on my little glove to take care of fingerprints, and yeah, we can go into it. So the first thing we should probably do is to actually put in the film, right? So let me just fetch that. Here's the film. Easy peasy. First we need to make some adjustments anyway, so I will just put that film in. It's right in. Let me find one frame. Great. And let's turn on the light. Where is it? There you are. Yes, so it's a bit off. So what you will notice, this is really interesting. What you will notice is every camera, and especially every medium format camera, takes a picture of a different size, which is really a pain in the butt if you want to create a universal holder. So you know, sometimes for instance for the Mamiya RB67 we noticed that camera doesn't really take 6x7. It takes more something like 6x76 or something like that. Like it's just weird. This one is pretty good though. Like even here you can see that, you know, this is a exactly 6x6 frame, but it's not full. It's not filled fully, which means this is not really 6x6. But you know, there we go, close enough. So let me turn on the camera. I forgot to take out the lens cover, and first thing we need to do is to actually adjust the camera so that it sees the frame. Oh, I'm actually quite spot on. That's cool. So let's do this. Let's do this. So right now I have the frame aligned quite well. And what I want to do right now is to fill in my whole frame, or, you know, get as close as possible to filling my whole frame with what we are taking a scan of, so that I use all of my 24 megapixels. I don't really care that much about borders, but you know, I will include them anyway. There we go. Now let me zoom in for a bit, and remember what we are looking for is to have the grain as sharp as possible, because you know, your picture may be out of focus, so it's better to focus on the grain actually. I think that's good enough. Yeah, let's leave it like that. And that's it. One thing I should probably do, and I should have done probably before actually starting to scan, is to make sure the camera is aligned or perpendicular with the scanning plane. So what you can do is to, of course, use your bubble measure or stuff like that. What I find much easier is just to use a little mirror. I mentioned it in a couple other videos, but you know, it works much better. So what you will do is, essentially make sure that your lens is in the dead center of the frame. And since I scanned with this rig quite a bit already, it's, I would say, all right, considering, yeah, this is okay. Let me see, let me focus properly. Okay, we can go a bit more up, I guess. Yeah, this is good, this is good. All right, now I need to do this again, of course, because I moved the camera a little bit. So let me do this. I don't see the frame, so let me decrease my exposure a little bit. And it's of course out of focus. There we go, there we go, that's better. Okay, this looks cool. Now, a cool thing is that once you put everything together like this, you don't really need to do it again, because you know, you just focus on one picture and then you just move the film. So I think we're quite all right. Let me just take a look at the exposimeter, or at the histogram. One thing I forgot. This lens, the Laowa macro lens for M mount, is really cool. What it does is it doesn't have 1:1 ratio. It has 1:2, which means you can scan frames, or you can get much closer, and the kind of zoom or enlargement is bigger than 1:1, which is super cool and quite convenient for scanning. Anyway, so what we will do right now is we will increase the aperture. This lens started 5.6, so we'll increase to, I think, 8. Yeah, that's good enough. And then what you want to do is to adjust your aperture so that you have as much information in as possible without actually going over. So I'm just checking my histogram. Yeah, I think this is pretty good. All right. One thing I forgot is to use a cable release. So give me 1 second. There we go, a trusted cable release. That's what I like about this camera. I know it's mechanical enough so that I actually enjoy shooting with it, but it's still a digital camera, so when I don't want to, I don't need to go through the whole developing and scanning the film. You know, since we have 2 kids, it's a bit more convenient to take out this digital camera from time to time. But I, of course, still enjoy shooting film quite a lot, and I do it every time I actually want to go out and shoot. So, enough rambling. Let's start with scanning. So I will move the film to the first frame. Give me 1 second. There's some perforation from drying the film, so we need to move that a little bit. Oh, that's a cool picture. I completely forgot that I took that. That's one of the magics of shooting film, right? Before you develop and scan it, you usually forget what you actually took. And either you're disgusted or you're actually pleasantly surprised. This looks like a pleasant surprise so far, so let's get to it. So my settings, ISO 200, which is the base or base ISO for this camera, 1/62 aperture or exposure, and f8 aperture. So let's get to it. There we go. I especially picked a 120 film because, you know, it's only 12 frames. If I was supposed to scan like 36 frames, this video would become really boring really fast. You know, and one thing I like about the system is once you set it up, you just it's a mechanical thing. You don't need to really think about it anymore, and you just move the film, hit the button, move the film, hit the button. Easy as that. I really like this new version of the holder. Of course, the V1 that I made for myself held up really good those 3 years, and I used it extensively. But it had its flaws. Like I essentially learned CAT on that thing, and yeah, it kind of suffered some issues, or, you know, some things that I always wanted to fix. But since I really didn't know what I was doing in CAT, fixing anything became a pain, because, you know, by fixing one thing you introduce several other things, and then there was too many steps in the CAT file to actually make sense of it. So one day I told myself, like, I can't do this anymore, and I will create a new version that fixes most of the issues that we have. And yeah, it will be nice, and it is really, really nice. Even, you know, the redesigned inserts or masks, they add so much to the whole system, because right now you have the whole I would say line through which the film goes without interruption, without any step or anything. It holds the film really flat, really nice, and it's just nice to operate. And to be completely honest, it's also nicer to, or easier to manufacture, which is great for me, which means that I can spend more time talking to you folks, or possibly inventing new things. Stay tuned. And yeah, through my rambling, we actually scanned the whole thing. So that was kind of fast and easy. So what we will do right now is I will upload these, or import these to Lightroom, and we will process them. So give me 1 second. Okay, so I have imported the pictures to Lightroom Classic, and I've cropped them and rotated them. So they are now prepared to be processed. So let me hit Control N, and open Negative Lab Pro. As I mentioned, I think this is by far the best app for processing negatives. I've tried a bunch of those, but this one gives me consistently the best results that I really like. It's easy to use. It's not free, but I think the price is 100% worth it. So let's go through what we will do here. First, you need to convert these, of course. The type is negative. Yes, we are not scanning positive film. The source is from digital camera, of course. Color model, this is black and white, so let's use that. If we were scanning a color film, I would probably use Noritsu because I really like what it does to, or what it does with shadows. And overall color palette is really nice and pleasing. But for now, we are sticking with black and white. I usually don't play with the rest of these. So, oh, one thing that I forgot is I really, really like the role analysis feature. I think it was introduced back in version 3. What it does is it scans through the whole roll that you are now that you are currently scanning, and applies the same settings to every picture so that it's consistent, and it gives you more, I would say, true to stock colors, which is what you usually want, right? So let's hit that and wait for NLP to do its magic. We are not affiliated with NLP, but I'm more than happy to promote them because it's a really, really good piece of software. And that's it. So we have essentially inverted these. It's a black and white film, so the processing is not that complex. If we were doing color negatives, there's a bit more magic involved. But either than that, what I usually do is I will find kind of normal-ish picture, a picture with a normal range, and try to adjust that. Usually I go just something, I go with a preset because I'm kind of lazy with that, and I think that NLP does a really good job with the settings anyway. So let's go with lab standard, see how that looks. I think that's okay. I really like a bit of grain showing in the skies. It looks really nice. I usually go for a bit more contrast, so first let's leave NLP to figure out how that could look. I think this is good. I think we're getting a bit of clipping, but it's not a huge deal. Yeah, this is not bad. Okay, let me do this. Yeah, if you like a bit more crunched down color palette or palette in general, these two settings are really good. And one thing I should have mentioned in the beginning, I'm not an expert on Negative Lab Pro by far. I think there are much better channels for that, so feel free to search YouTube for better tutorials. I'm kind of rubbish in it, but for my needs, this is what I usually do. And yeah, let's sync all of that with the rest of the pictures, and now go picture by picture. So apparently, this one has a pretty strong contrast. So let's dial it down a little bit. I suppose, yeah, this is good. And let's raise the blacks and the shadows a little bit. Some people kind of struggle with the fact that you adjust the picture post-processing since it's a negative. But for those who have been introduced to the process of enlarging a picture or printing it in the darkroom, that you do this anyway all the time. There's a lot of burning and dodging involved, and you do really a lot of stuff that I now do digitally. You do pretty much physically with an enlarger, so I don't really feel bad about it because that's what I would be doing in the darkroom anyway. Yeah, this looks pretty cool. I really like the symmetry of the plane, and the man probably walking or running, who knows. The tones are pretty nice, I would say. Yeah, this one is a bit overcooked, so let's dial it down a little bit. See if I can do something with this. As I mentioned, I'm not the best person to do this, but you know, I don't really share my pictures that much. I just do it for myself because I like the process. And yeah, this is enough for me. This is pretty good. I think the sky will remain burning anyway, so I don't really care about it that much. I really like the crane here and the lines. It looks pretty cool. Oh, this is overcooked. Yeah, I think we won't be able to do much with this anyway. Let me maybe use the standard. Oh yeah, this is much better. Okay. By the way, I don't know if you've noticed, but I probably should clean my lens or sensor because I am getting this piece of rubbish on every single negative, which tells me that it's probably on the lens. But anyway, let's leave that for some other time. Oh, this is pretty overcooked as well. Okay. This looks cool. I really like that area of London. I think walking around there is pretty photogenic. There's a lot of really cool buildings, and overall, a nice area to stay in. Yeah, this is nice. Huh. I didn't really do a great job. Yeah, this is one of the disadvantages of using a double lens camera, right? Because what I probably saw in the 3D upper lens wasn't what I really got here. So, stuff happens. I can't do anything. I can't do much about it right now. Next time I go shooting, I need to actually remember that I need to be cautious with these things. Oh, this is a really nice area. So for those from London or who visit London often, that you probably know that it's close to London City. There's a lot of plane flying over the river. Yeah, I really like it there. I keep returning to that area. This is kind of gray. I don't really like it much. And it looks I should have cleaned the negative a little bit. Probably when I was processing the film, I didn't clean it properly. Like we can remove this at post quite easily, but just to be aware of that, this is a thing. Yeah, and we are at the end of it. So what I usually do right now is I go through, or I kind of select the pictures that I like, and I process them a little bit, remove some blemishes here and there, and make it a bit nicer. But for the sake of this video, I think this is more than enough. As I mentioned already, Negative Lab Pro is a really good piece of kit. I would recommend it to everybody. It's not free, but it's absolutely worth it. And if you shoot a lot of film, $100 is not much compared to how much you probably spend on film and other gear. So really recommend it. So there you have it. We've scanned one roll of Kentmere 400 in 120 using our Lobster Holder V2 with an appropriate insert, and I think those turned out really well. I am quite happy about the pictures. So thank you so much for sticking with us through this video. I hope you learned something, and if not, I hope you at least found it entertaining. And in case you have any questions or comments you would like to see some more, feel free to hit us up in the comments or through an email or anything. So thank you so much, and see you some another time.